The Steelers can make a huge move this offseason, signing one of the top safeties on the market. This is arguably the best offseason to need a safety, and there are so many really good free agent safeties out there, players that just finished up their rookie contracts and are looking for a payday, guys that have untapped potential, guys that are young, that have showed flashes of brilliance in this league, and the Steelers can go and get one of them. I'm going to feature 4 safeties in this video today, 2 that I really want, and 2 backups. Steelers Digest, thank you guys for joining me here today. If you haven't already, subscribed to the channel. Most of you have not yet subscribed. If you want the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news, rumors, content, and analysis, as well as updates throughout the offseason, subscribe to Steelers Digest, and we got you covered with the latest pertaining to your Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers Nation, this is the channel for you. We're going to be talking safeties today, featuring one of my favorite young safeties in the league that reminds me of a Steelers all-time great, and of course talking about Troy Polamalu, and the player that I want, Talanoa Hufanga. He's been getting Troy Polamalu comps ever since he came to the league. It's mainly because of his poofy hair, but Talanoa Hufanga is a absolute stud. He was hurt all of last season, barely played, but the year before last, oh my God. This guy was an absolute beast. He was delivering powerful hits left and right. He is one of the best tackling safeties that I have seen in some time. He's only 25 years old. His actual cap hit this year could be fairly decent and team friendly because of the fact that he missed a lot of games last year. So the Steelers are in a really good position to go after a guy like Hufanga, and the rumors have linked these two sides together. That is a team that Hufanga would be interested in playing for. So I think the Steelers should go after him. He was an all-pro before. We talk about him being healthy. You know, back in 2023, which was the year he was fully healthy, he played 10 games. Okay, not the year he was fully healthy. 2023 only played 10 games. 2022 was the year that he was fully healthy. We're talking about a guy that put up a ridiculous number of tackles, 97 tackles as a safety in 2022, with 2 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, 4 interceptions, and a touchdown with 9 passes defense. And then you also have 8 stuffs on the board for Hufanga. So that's what he can do in a fully healthy season. Now you look at 2023, another injury-ridden season, 52 tackles, 3 interceptions, 3 passes defense, so all of them interceptions. But obviously, he has the potential, right? He's the type of guy that can step in there and either be a starter or a role player, whatever you need of him. I would rather have Deshaun Elliott starting for now, keep Deshaun Elliott, and put Hufanga as the number 2 and just rotate him in there because he's coming off an injury. But he's so young and the potential is so high. His ceiling is so high that I would take a chance on a guy like this and see what he really can do, because I really believe he could continue to be an all-pro safety like he was back in 2022. Because he's been hurt, that actually dampers his value down, where the Steelers could make a play for a guy like this, and he could actually have a significant impact on our secondary, which is one of the main problems with this team from last year. So I would love to go after Talanoa Hufanga, if at all possible, to be either our starting strong safety or maybe our number 2 strong safety next year. Another guy that I really want, Tre'Von Moehrig. Now, this guy from the Raiders, he shows a lot of promise, still very young, going into his age 26 season. This is a dude that can absolutely lay the boom. And this is kind of hinging on the idea that Minkah Fitzpatrick would either get cut or traded after last year. I don't know how he's really a Pro Bowler, and I don't like to bash our players, but Minkah Fitzpatrick played pretty bad again last year, and I don't know if it's time for him to go, but a change of scenery would probably help the Pittsburgh Steelers. If our 3 safeties going into next year are Deshaun Elliott, Talanoa Hufanga, and Tre'Von Moehrig, I think our team is significantly better than it was last year, because our secondary is one of the main problems. Obviously, we need corners to pair with Joey Porter Jr., and I have a plan for that as well. Upcoming video. But right now we're talking safeties, and I think Hufanga and Moehrig are the 2 top guys on my wish list. This is a guy that's going to get a decent payday because he has actually been very productive so far in his NFL career. We're talking about a guy that's played all 17 games 3 or 4 years. The other year he played 15. So availability is one of the best abilities you can have. He has that availability. 104 total tackles last year. You could argue he's gotten better each year. each year he's continued to improve. A 2021 second-round pick out of TCU. Again, he's only 25 years old. He'll be 26 next year. This guy, 6'2", 200. He has the frame to be a strong safety, but he's a free safety. And he can go out there. He can make interceptions too. You know, he had 2 interceptions last year, 3 the year before that. A sack this year, 2 sacks the year before that. He can blitz off the edge if you need him to. You know, 10 passes defensed, 8, 5, 6, always getting those pass defense. This guy, I mean, I really just like watching him. I think you have to really watch the tape to understand what he is, and it says in there, tone setter. That is a perfect example of what Trayvon Merrick brings to the table. I do think he is a tone setter. We need guys that can lay the boom. We need guys that can energize our defense and put that, you know, it's like a fight in hockey, okay? I try to make hockey references as much as I can. It's like a guy is willing to drop the gloves for his team or defend his teammate if he needs to or lay a big hit, something to energize the team, to energize the bench, the sideline, whatever. But having a guy like Merrick, that's a great all-around safety, and putting him on the opposite side of Deshaun Elliott, Tomlin, whoever's our strong safety, he would be an ideal free safety. Now, the guy I'm going to show you next is another Miami Dolphin free safety, but since the Minkah Fitzpatrick experience hasn't been something I've really loved, I don't want to go after a Miami Dolphin safety again unless we absolutely have to. I get that this is a free agency and we wouldn't have to trade for him this time, and that's why I put him on the list. But Merrick, definitely number 1 on my wish list for free safeties. Absolutely no doubt about that. So let's look at the next guy on my list, and that is Jevon Holland. Jevon Holland is an absolute stud. He is a ball-hawking free safety, a little bit different stylistically than Trayvon Merrick, actually very different stylistically than Trayvon Merrick. He brings a lot to the table, though. He's the type of guy kind of like Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's going to go out there and he's going to get interceptions. Okay, that's what he's made for. Minkah Fitzpatrick stopped getting interceptions, so now's the time maybe we bring in a guy like Jevon Holland. He actually got 0 interceptions last year. So another reason why he probably won't demand a ton of money. The year before that, he finished with 1 interception, then 2 the year before that, 2 the year before that. So I'm not saying he's that much of an upgrade over Minkah Fitzpatrick. I would prefer Trayvon Merrick. But if we're going after just a bunch of safeties and we want depth at that position, our number 2 free safety right now is Miles Killebrew. So if we go after Jevon Holland, hey, maybe Minkah Fitzpatrick could be unlocked if he starts seeing some competition, you know, pull up. So Jevon Holland could be that dude. I really believe that. You know, he could do a lot of things well. He's a guy that finished with 96 tackles back in 2022. So not only can he get picks, but he can make tackles. He's a good tackling safety. 2nd-round pick out of Oregon back in 2021. So you see these guys from 2021 draft class. So you're seeing Merrick, you're seeing Holland, you're seeing these 2021 second, 3rd, 4th, 5th round draft picks come up in free agency because they didn't have that 5th-year option that first round picks have. So you're seeing these guys come up in free agency, and they're still very young. You know, he's entering his age 25 season. So if he continues his development, I like the trajectory of Trayvon Merrick a little bit better. But if we can't get Merrick, I think Holland is a good safety blanket just because on tape, he's actually a really solid pass breaker upper, even if he's not getting the interceptions. You know, he finished with 10 passes defense back in 2021, 7 in 22, 4 in 23 and 24. So this is a guy, I'm telling you, the tape is going to show you exactly what kind of player he is. I really do like Jevon Holland. The stats aren't going to jump off the screen at you, but he is a solid player. And I just think our secondary needs some work. So Jevon Holland, Trayvon Merrick, Talanoa Hufanga, or this last guy, another safety blanket guy, another backup option if we need to resort to this, is Justin Reid. Now, do I think Justin Reid is going to leave the Kansas City Chiefs? No, I really don't. But if he did, I would be fine with bringing him into Pittsburgh. Absolutely. Justin Reid, on tape, again, another guy that really impresses, you know, with this Chiefs. He's a little bit older, entering his age 28 season next year, former 3rd-round pick out of Stanford, but he's a really solid player. He's one of the main reasons why the Chiefs defense is as good as it is. He is one of the main pieces in their secondary, starting safety. He can absolutely, and you see it in the description, drop the hammer. And I think the description here really says it all. Great downhill tackler, can drop the hammer on you, got great vision, field awareness. In 3 years with the Chiefs, 261 tackles, 4 sacks, 3 interceptions, 14 pass breakups. I mean, this is a dude that's been doing it his entire career. Every year he's been productive. He played at least 13 games every year, and he's been in the league for 7 years. He's, you know, 88, 78, 83, 66, 83, 95, 87 tackles. I mean, he is a tackle machine. So Justin Reid, I actually think he could be, a starter as well. He kind of reminds me of Deshaun Elliott a little bit. That's why he's simply a backup plan. I'm expecting Deshaun Elliott to be on the roster next year, but if for whatever reason he's not, it's more of an issue to go out there and get a strong safety. You see what the level of safeties are out there this year in the offseason. It's the best year to need a safety because there's 4 really good options right there, and I didn't even give you all of them. You got Cam Bynum out there as well. I mean, there's some really solid safeties in the market this year. So if the Steelers could just go out there and get one of them, number 1 on my wish list, of course, is Hufanga. I would love to see him in black and gold. And if we could get Trayvon Merrick too, holy moly, that would be a scary safety duo. Everybody's arguing and saying, oh, the Steelers shouldn't spend money on defense anymore. That's what we do. Our defense wasn't good enough last year. I mean, they had their moments. They had some big games, but when it came down to it, they weren't good. So I think we need to fix the secondary first and foremost. I think our front 7 is actually pretty decent, but I really do think that the secondary needs some work. It starts with safety and corner. I think we get a nice little corner in there, either a draft pick, if we can get one in the draft. I know in the mock draft, I couldn't really get one to fall to me, but I'm not drafting a safety. If I can help it, I'm going to sign one in free agency, a guy that's proven that he can be that guy, especially a guy coming off a rookie contract like Hufanga or Trayvon Merrick. Even if we get one of those guys and then just keep Minka and hope that Minka can turn it around. Hey, I think a lot of big things happening for the Steelers this offseason. Our whole team pretty much is free agents. So let's go out there and get some studs. You know what I'm saying? Hufanga, Merrick, hey, let's do it. Let's make it happen, right? Omar Khan, let's make it happen. So Steelers Nation, thank you so much for watching this episode of Steelers Digest. We'll continue to provide updates throughout the offseason. Talking about a whole bunch of different things today. It was safeties. So those are the 4 guys on my wish list. And I hope the Steelers can get at least one of them, maybe 2. Maybe we get Merrick and Hufanga. That'd be awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll see you on the next episode of Steelers Digest.